So I called you about a year ago, and I'm 29. I live in the Bay Area. I have my own place, and I live alone.
Nice.
I was working 50 hours a week, and I forgave both my parents. My life was coming together pretty amazing. And I wasn't looking for a woman at all, and I wasn't having any sex out of wedlock either. But one day, it was my brother's birthday, and I wanted to dress nice, so I went down to a retail store, and I bought a pair of jeans. The girl behind the counter was cute, and she was really nice, so I asked her for her number if she wanted to hang out sometime. And since I had forgiven my parents and I had gotten my life together, you know, with a job and a house, I thought I was, like, ready for dating and could handle it. And kind of like what you guys were talking about this morning, I thought I could see.
Yeah.
And I thought I was so-called awake, and I could see the light. And for a while, it was amazing.
Amazing.
So here's what happened. I took her on a few dates, and things were going well. I was dating her for a few months. We had not had sex yet. And I had called you, and I had asked you for your advice. You said continue to date her, no sex out of wedlock, and just take it as it goes. So I was like, okay. So after about 3 months of dating her, one night, she took me to the hot tubs, and she had her way with me. And that night, I definitely stayed up all night to get a Norwegian. I noticed after I stopped doing, after that night, I stopped doing the silent prayer.
Yeah.
And I slowly fell distant from God. This woman had so much hell in her, but I didn't know this because women are really sneaky.
Yeah.
Very sneaky.
Very cunning.
And they hide the hell that they're in.
Yep.
And so recently I had just parted ways with her. So I dated her for 1 full year. And I noticed how weak she had made me after I had been so strong following the things that I knew were making my life great. So all the hard work that I had put in over the last year was starting to fade away.
Yeah.
And let me just give you a quick example. She would fake break up with me. This is what a lot of women do. And I thought it was a real breakup. So I agreed, and I let her dump me, and I went 90 going north.
Yeah.
And, well, she would show up at my house at 1 a.m., going 100 going north, banging on my door, yelling so the whole neighborhood would hear. And eventually I'd have to bring her in my house and calm her down just to not call the police.
Amazing.
I should have called the police, but I let her do this about like 7 or 8 times. And I think I was so weak is because even though I had forgiven my parents, I noticed that I still had the nature of my mother that was imposed on me as a kid.
Yeah.
And so I never really learned how to put my foot down. My father, he never put his foot down with my mother.
Absolutely.
And my mother would run him out of the house with his tail between his legs like a beta.
Beta male.
And when I watched this happen to my father, I was like, wow, I guess that's a normal thing for women to have control. But anyway, eventually last week, she banged on my door, and this time it was 3 a.m., and this was the last straw. So I called the police on her, and when she heard me giving the police my address, she drove 2,000 going north.
Nice.
And ever since last week, I got a new job. I'm back at the gym, doing silent prayer every morning, every night.
Right on.
But it's kind of crazy to see that, like, you had told me what was going to happen, and I thought that I was awake enough and I could see and I was ready for it, but I definitely wasn't. The reality was my ego drew me back.
Yes.
And I started believing the thoughts like, oh, Ryan, your life is together. You can handle this woman. You can bring her out of the hell she's in. But it was all deceits and lies. And I'm just thankful to have stayed strong because she was just, oh, my gosh, she was the hottest piece of ass. Oh, shit, sorry. Oh, crap. My bad. My bad. The point is, I thought my life was together and it was going the way I wanted it to because it was just going perfect. And then I just fell back into the sinful nature of lust, and it literally just drew me back and away from God. And I just wanted to kind of share that little testimony with you.
Ryan, that is an amazing story, man. I totally understand it. And And it is a perfect example of not thinking that you have it. I mean, a perfect example of thinking that you have it. That's why you stay with the prayer, and don't let Satan tell you don't need to pray. You do need to do the silent prayer. You need to stay mindful of God. And I'm glad you learned from it, and you're back on track, and you'll be fine. Brush it off. It was a good experience for you to learn, because some people have hard heads, and just keep going. You'll find God is not going to hold that against you as long as you realize, you know what, that was wrong. I was stupid. What the? And
yeah, that's exactly what I said. What the? What are you doing, Ryan?
Yeah. Because
but
the
again,
one
it was
thing
because
that
I thought it was together.
Right. The one thing that will happen to men who return to the Father is that they will overcome the woman, and she won't be able to control them. But that would make her want to seduce you even more so. Right. And like with this woman breaking up with you, she wanted you to overreact to the breakup. She wanted you to be desperate for her. And then she'll come over and give you more sex, and she got you back. She'll play that game with you if you're not wise enough to see what's going on. But I'm glad you called the cops on her, man. Put her in jail and leave her there. Amazing. Right.
Well, I've never called the cops on a woman before. So the first thing I was thinking, I was like, she's such a weak person physically. Like, she was never going to hurt me. But then I realized that this was going to get to a point where it was going to get physical, I feel like, because she is a very angry person.
Yeah, and she'll call the cop on you.
Yep.
No, men better have the moment they get loud, call the cops. Hey, I'm being verbally abused, sir. Come and get her. Yep. And leave her there. Don't bail her out. You take care of the kids if you're married with kids. I know you're not, but the guys that are married, don't be bailed. These women are not timid little feminine women that they got hell in them, and they don't mind destroying, even if it means destroying the children. But thank you, Ryan. Amazing call, man. I appreciate it.
Of course, Jesse. Have a happy holidays to you and the crew.
Thank you. You too, buddy. Amazing. Amazing, sir. That's like, Mamma mia, hola, si, senor, gracias, hold your wallet story. I stayed up all night to get a Mexican story. That's amazing. Amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do it.